Welcome to Riverside Arena on Moose Lake. Today we're going to teach you how to be the best hoser you can be. And that of course is flooding those outdoor rinks and keeping them in good shape. Come on in, we'll show you the arena.
We still use the word flood.
This is our indoor facility, home of the Moose Lake Rebels and the Moose Lake Area Hockey Association. When it's your turn to flood the rink at Moose Lake, first you need a key to get into the building. Easy to get that from any of the coaches, any of the members of the arena staff or building and grounds. Before your flooding night, it's good to make arrangements for that key and access to the building. That information is posted on the bulletin board right in the main lobby area of the arena. Take a look, give someone a call. It's always nice when you're hosing to have at least 2 persons available to help manage the hoses. Once you've got your key, you've got access to the building and back here to the Zamboni room. This can be accessed by either a key or a code, either of which you can get from the arena manager or one of your coaches. Once you're in the Zamboni area, of course there's a Zamboni here.
Hopefully.
And that'll come in handy for flooding later on. But early season, of course, we've got to build that ice right from the ground up.
To start with the equipment that we use, we have a drying rack here where we keep the hoses and put them back up here when we're done. The water source is over in this corner by the door, and this big green hose is our primary hose, and we leave it hooked up at all times. The other hoses get hooked onto this, and we usually use 2 more hoses in addition to this one.
And this is the west side of the building, isn't it, Gary?
Yes, it is. This is the, there are several of these down here, but this is the nozzle that'll go on the very end of the hose, and you can change from spray to stream.
And while Gary's talking about the nozzle, all of our early season floods, and even sometimes later in the season, the lighter the spray, the quicker it freezes and the better ice we make.
Now you can't put too little water on, but you can definitely put too much, because the heat of the water will melt the ground and you'll lose it all. A couple other pieces of equipment that you can use when you're flooding. We have a couple pairs of these insulated red rubber gloves to keep your hands dry and somewhat warm. We have 2 sets of these strap-on-your-shoe ice cleats, and I highly recommend them. They do keep you more upright.
When that ice gets a little bit wet, it's very slippery. And the longer we are, the further it is to fall, and it doesn't feel good hitting the noggin on the ice.
Now, a little bit of snow on the ice like today will hide those slippery spots, so it's good to be wearing these. Okay?
And those will be, where should we leave those, Gary, so they're easy to find?
With the red gloves here.
Right next to the water source.
Yeah.
In the northwest corner of the Zamboni room.
So, once you have your equipment about ready, what we'll do is start by taking a hose off the rack and hooking it onto the green one.
Just a simple coupler here. This is nice to do, as Gary's showing us, inside of the building before we get out. When we're flooding, it's going to be close to 0 degrees, maybe below 0, and this is a little cool on the fingers. But nice to get it set up while we're still indoors.
The difficult part about it all, when you do it all in one place, is you get twists and tangles which you have to straighten out before you turn the water on. Otherwise, the water can just be trapped in the hose.
Definitely a job that's nice to have 2 pairs of hands to do. No reason you can't bring the kids along though. Certainly the older kids, high school age kids, they are very good at this.
And then the nozzle goes on the end.
If you're my age, you lean against the wall and you're putting your cleats on, you might end up on the ice as well. Slide them up around the back. You might have these at home, such as a yak track or other type of a cleat. Go ahead and bring those down and feel comfortable to use them out on the rink. And we'll use some of our red rubber gloves here.
Door opener on the wall next to the door. Let's go over in the corner there, since that would be the hard place.
Okay. So one guy can take the lead on the hose and the other one can feed it out to him and get her all straightened out. We're going to go to the north rink with the boards to start.
And I was going to say, Rory, once you get the hoses out here and stretched out all the way, then the one person can hold the nozzle and the other one come back in here and turn the water on. And then we can shut the door to keep it a little warmer in there. We have two strips of 2x4 looking stuff that we lay down here before we close the door just to help keep the heat in. The other thing you want to do is open the bolt so that you don't get locked out. That'll keep you from... And as soon as he's ready for water, you'll come in here with the yellow handle and just turn it down. And you may have to help take some kinks out of this hose. And here's where the second person comes in here and you can help out the person doing the spraying.
Notice the fine mist that we're trying to keep as we're flooding the rink. Light little snows like this we have here on December 11th is easy to flood right over top of and melt the snow. If we get a bit more than that, more than an inch, it's better to remove some of that snow and then you'll have a good base to work with. One of the tricks as you're flooding is to try not to see big puddles. If you're getting puddles, you're probably putting too much ice. Let it freeze behind you and keep the hoses moving as you go. These cleats sure come in handy here on this slippery ice. We're going to eventually try and build up anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of ice on this base. So frequent floods. Anytime it's below, what, Gary, about 10 degrees?
10 degrees is good.
Then somebody should be down flooding. Works out real nice if you got somebody coming right behind you. You can flood for about 2 hours to cover both rinks.
Right.
Turn the hose over to the next team, and it's all ready to flood again.
As long as you keep it light.
Keep it light. We're going on it. You think this is about right, Gary, or are we too heavy?
Well, it's less than 10 degrees. We can even, maybe even a hair more would be all right.
A little bit more as we're cold here. The spray's going down light, so it has time to freeze. You see we're early enough, we still got a little grass going through. Here at Riverside and the Moose Lake area, we like to have our ice in by December 15th is kind of a goal. Some years we'll get it in that first week of December. If we get too much global warming in a particular year, it might be clear till Christmas. But of course, the sooner we get the ice, the sooner you get those kids out of the house and they're down here burning up some energy. So we've got enough hose to cover this whole rink here, get clear down to the end. We're going to work on this west end here today. 40's got the east end covered pretty good with the fire truck.
And the second person, if you can keep the hose out of the way for the spraying, you keep removing it back off the ice. That's about the main job. Sometimes you have to go inside and get a cup of coffee for the sprayer, but
sure nice having these rubber gloves on too, Gary. If these hoses leak a little bit, our hands would be pretty cold without them.
and they really do help. And And they're big too, so some people might even get an extra glove inside.
We're trying to make sure we melt all the snow off of here too, so that's good and frozen. Yeah. There's just a little bit of water sitting there, not any big puddling at all. Hose still moving all the time. If we get a snowfall that's more than a flurry like we've got here, sometimes it's nice to pack it down. You can put a vehicle out here and pack it with that. Again, we're talking an inch of snow or less, a small amount yet. Or you can pack it with a sled. We've got some boards laying alongside our back garage that you can just pull along. These big chunks like this of slush here, it's kind of nice if those are all worked in and melted. That'll make it freeze up a lot better for you. We've got some shovels in the Zamboni room that work good for that. Just dragging the back side of the shovel along works pretty well. This slush along the boards has got to get a little bit saturated so that doesn't form air pockets underneath. Eventually the ice is going to have to go clear up above those.
Yeah, we had a lot of snow left after the snow removal. So.
We're going to just work our way out and let Forty finish that other part of the ring and show you how to put the hoses away. Think that'd be all right, Gary?
As we finish up on the rink and head back this direction towards the other rink, what we do is ice down the trail so that the Olympia can go across here without picking up dirt. So we'll water our way back.
We just leave this opening without boards for right now. Once we build the ice up enough, we'll put boards in, make this game condition proof. As we move back towards the arena, the second guy is back pulling hoses out of the way so we don't get kinks in them. We like to have this whole walkway flooded all the way from our north rink, our game rink, over to the skating rink, and along to the back entrance to the Riverside Arena. This is also, of course, where the varsity boys are going to be dressing, and they'll need access by skates to the facility.
Hopefully you'll have time, once you get all this hoses set up and you do one rink, to go over and do the second rink. But if you don't have time for that, anything helps.
What do you think, Gary? Should we wind the hoses in for now and show them how to put them up?
Yeah, he already did the other rink just a bit ago.
Yeah. Otherwise, we would continue on and finish the whole flood at this point. It's going to warm up a little bit today, going to get up into the teens, so we'll wait again until this evening to do the next flood. So the first step is to get the hoses shut down. Gary, shut the water off.
The water at the yellow handle first of all, and then we can disconnect the hoses from each other so that we can drain them.
So again, when it's nice having these rubber gloves, so sometimes it can be kind of cool with this water here, and you'll for sure spill a little bit.
Yeah, your hands get kind of wet disconnecting. Then if you start with the hose, I grab this one, get them up about shoulder height with all the kinks out, and you can feel as the water goes out, the hose kind of collapses.
The second guy can be here and just keep any of the kinks out of the hose for him. Nice to have a big long guy like Gary to get it over the shoulders. That helps drain those hoses good.
It does go well.
If your wife is down, she could just stand on your shoulders for this part.
Yeah, or maybe she can do it all while you go for top. And the green hose we keep over in this corner. And then we can get these out of the way.
Should we go ahead and start wrapping these, Gary?
Yeah, let's put it back on the rack.
Drop that there. Now these have already got the water out. Real important part of it, getting the water out of these hoses and getting them laying in here straight. Sure makes it easier for your partner coming down next shift. And we'll just zigzag it back and forth to get these hoses wrapped. This is a good workout for those young hockey players. It helps their shot by this good arm, upper body work. Notice we got both ends of the hoses dangling down here to drain any excess. Then we'll just take the next one, wrap it right on top. Like we said earlier, guys, if we're in the evening, I think our goal would be to hand one set of hoses off to the next team coming. And every couple hours we'd have new flooding. It needs to be about single digits or below zero, and then you can really keep the hoses going all night long.
When it's above zero in marginal temperature, like today at 10 degrees or so, you have to put it down pretty light, and then it takes a couple hours to harden up. And as soon as you can, we close the door.
Any final shutdown tips that they should know, Gary?
Oh, one other thing that we didn't even mention. This is the box that controls the lights for both outdoor rinks. It's on a timer and will normally go off about 10 o'clock, which means you have to come in here, and on the far right there's an on-off button. You can turn the lights on by hitting that. When you're done flooding, please turn it off again just by one push on the button.
It's important, I think, for them to not reset it or change the times.
Don't.
The simple on-off button is all that really needs to be operated in there.
Just that right-hand button. The rest of them are for the timers, and we don't monkey with that. Then you'll have the lights off, relock the back door, and you're set to go.
Lock up the building behind you, turn out any lights, and you'll be ready for the next shift. And you put on a nice flood and the kids will be out there skating in no time. Thanks.
Thank you.